चल हो जा शुरू।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Republic is the only channel which has its reporters there in Kuwait on ground zero. We have Anup joining us live from the scene of tragedy. Anup, what exactly happened and how many people have died so far? What is the latest update as far as the death toll is concerned?
Hello. So I think there are almost 41 people that have been reported dead. We have Ansuk Mansari, Sheikh Mohammed. There are a lot of South Indian people who are working here as daily immigrants. They have been a lot of deceased as well. We are trying to gather as much information that we can. But you can see, I mean, behind me, they have this barricading, so nobody's being allowed there. And it is a very sensitive area. The entire area has been blocked. And we still do not have the exact numbers, how many people were reported. But the incident happened at Manguf, which is very close to a lot of where a lot of residences happen. So we are still trying to get information as much possible to how many deceased have been mentioned right now.
Also, Anuj, now the Deputy Prime Minister of Kuwait has also said that it is the greed that led to the tragedy. If you could tell us about the kind of habilitation that's provided to all these workers when they're taken from India to Kuwait over there.
So, well, the exact information so far that we've been given is there were a lot of the fire extinguishers were not working and the safety measures were not taken care. So the main reasons, and there were a lot of immigrants staying there, and which probably must have caused any reason, and there was no fire safety followed, nor any basic requirements were met. So we are still trying to figure out what exactly caused this incident, and we'll try to report it as soon as possible.
Anuj, if you could pan your camera and tell our viewers about what's exactly happening right now, about the barricading, about the emergency personnel right there, and also about any eyewitnesses that you find from the neighboring buildings.
Okay, so, well, you can see just the place behind, they're all barricading and we cannot enter this route, we cannot go there. If you can see, the army trucks are standing there. And there are a lot of car movements which are just following from here, and there'll be no movements. There are no civilian movements. As you can see, the cars are rushing through. So it's pretty sensitive that way. So we, as civilians or as reporters also, we are not being able to enter that stage.
Right. Also, Anuj, now, given the fact that many fire safety measures that were in place were dysfunctional, this has opened another can of worms because the Kuwait authority has also said that a crackdown must be initiated on all such buildings because the safety of hundreds of residents are at stake.
That's correct. As just the Prime Minister, Mr. Sheikh Fahad, just mentioned that, the rules and regulations regarding all the immigrants coming to Kuwait, they're going to be a little careful with that. And all these buildings needs to have the fire safety in place. So the sources are just saying that, it is going to be taken very seriously now. And till now, no further actions have been taken by the authorities.
Well, Anuj, we know that this is a construction site. I mean, this is the place where construction workers were habilitated. But if you could describe the exact locality of the tragedy where this happened and what time it happened and who were the first responders to this and so far what's happened on ground. If you could summarize that in a nutshell for our viewers.
So see, in short, I mean, what has happened is there were a lot of laborers who were staying there, okay? And in terms, this is almost like a 40 minutes drive from the city. When I talk about city, it's like Parwania or Shoaik. But from the outskirts where Al Fawania and there is Amgara, where there are a lot of the metal activities that happens. It's almost like just 30 minutes from there. So there are a lot of laborers who are positioned there, and they keep shuttling between Amgara and Shahab, where the place has happened, where the incident has happened.
And also, Anuj, as far as the investigations are concerned, how far is the emergency team, first responders from the tragedy site because this tragedy, which broke out at a kitchen in one of the floors, spread rampantly to other rooms and other, facilities as well, because 45 dead bodies have been pulled out. 160 people were living in that building. So how long does it take for the fire emergency personnel to, arrive at the spot and extinguish the fire?
See, well, when the incident was identified somewhere about 2:38 p.m., I think immediately within 20 minutes, we could see the fire, and there were a lot of movements with the sheriffs, with the local police authority, and they were immediately on the spot. But when I would say the entire operations began, it actually took almost like 40 minutes when they started to identify which exactly the location the fire has taken place, and where could they get the easiest access to connect the wire pumps and hoses. And that's when they started. And as you can see, it's on that side, on the ground level and on the flooring, it is very difficult. They did not get any proper connection to the wire or to the water pumps. So it just got difficult after that.
So the lack of connectivity and resources available, in the vicinity led to the tragedy that could have probably been averted. But fire emergency personnel, however, made it to the spot and tried to extinguish the blazes, but it was the smoke inhalation that killed majority of them at the building. Now, Anuj, as far as the rescue operations are concerned, what is the latest update, and how many of them have been rescued, and how many deceased have been identified?
So, well, we do not have the exact numbers to how many deceased have been identified, but while we talk, I could already see 4 ambulances passing by. So I assume there have been like more than 15 casualties that must have been reported. And we see continuous cars movement in terms of the sheriffs and the hospital ambulances, because in the closest vicinity, there were very few hospitals that were there. So we just had to manage it from the local vicinities and areas there.
Right, viewers, that's the latest that Anuj has got us from ground zero, because Republic TV is the only channel which has its reporter on ground in Kuwait, where 45 people have died so far, and 41 of them are Indians. 3 of them died at the hospital. They succumbed to the burn injuries at the building. And what the authorities have informed so far is that it is the toxic smoke that allegedly led to the death of many, because majority of them were asleep at the time of the fire outbreak at the building. So the investigation is currently underway, and the Indian envoy is currently in close touch with all the victims and the families back in India. Well, Anuj, as far as the Indian envoy is concerned, an emergency number, a hotline has also been established for the Indians who are trapped there, who are injured, the victims there, to get in touch with the Indian embassy. What are the other measures that are put in place?
Well, the Indian authority have started to connect with the local authorities and the number of Indians staying. So they're trying to gather information as much and trying to get in touch with their families back home, back in their country. But at the moment, as you can see, that the flames are glazing up, and it is very difficult to identify exactly how many people are inside, how many people are trapped. And we are trying to get in touch with the local Indian embassy as well to get the number of people who are officially working on Akama in Kuwait, and to get the exact numbers of the people staying there.
Right, Anuj, stay on with us, because now let's talk about what exactly happened, viewers. This is the building you see on your screens where fire erupted early in the morning at about 6 a.m. And what we know so far is that a fire erupted at one of the kitchens in this particular building at 5 a.m. And we don't know what exactly sparked the fire in the kitchen. But what exactly happened is that at 6 a.m. when the fire erupted, it spread rapidly to the neighboring rooms and other facilities as well, where the construction workers are housed. And since most of them, majority of them were sleeping at that time, They succumbed to injuries, burn injuries, and it was the toxic smoke that led to the death of 41 Indians, and most of them, majority of them hailing from Kerala and other southern states as well. So what we know is that the authorities are currently in touch with the families back in India. And Anuj, coming back to you, the Deputy Prime Minister has made some serious allegations against the facility that housed these construction workers. He said that the greed of the owner and the manager led to the tragedy.
Well, I cannot clearly comment so far that, the authorities can be blamed for this. But if you understand, I mean, due to the cost constraint for a lot of earners, a lot of the only members earners who comes from different parts of the country, just to save some bit of money, they would probably, be in a small apartment and too many numbers. So the exact authority would not give us any statement up to, what how many people were allowed to stay in. But so far, we are just trying to gather some more information. And 30 people, just with our latest resources, we know that 30 Indian workers have already been admitted to the Al Khaima hospital, which is just 13 kilometers away from here. And their positions have been reported as stable for now.